Hello everyone, today I'm going to go over a few technology and tool policies set for this class in regards to nutrition. I will tell you about policies that are necessary for this class and useful in nutritional careers. I will then go into safety requirements and then teacher-student communications and then procedures for routine tasks that we will do later on in the class. So let's begin. First of all, according to the curriculum standards, it is necessary to have policies in place for tool or technology usage in the nutrition field. Since food will be the main component working within this field, it is important to make sure that you understand the primary standards and regulations for safe food handling and sanitation practices. This includes the practice of personal grooming and hygiene, sanitary food handling procedures for local, state, and federal health, as well as understanding and applying how to prevent the spread of foodborne pathogens, illnesses, allergens, cross-contaminants, and just basic contamination. Basically, when you are dealing with food in and outside of the class, you need to make sure that you are clean, you handle food in a cleanly manner, and you avoid spreading illnesses by not having cross-contamination and by not being sick yourself, as well as being aware of a client's allergies and etc. So in regards to your and food safety, whenever we are handling food in class, you must have your hair up, as in like how I'm doing right now. You must not wear long sleeves, so my attire is fine. You must shower before coming to class. That is definitely necessary because that is definitely part of your hygiene. And you should not wear dangling jewelry just in case it might fall out or things like that. And you must wash your hands before we begin any activity. You must not be sick if you plan to participate, and you must let me know of any allergies that you have ahead of time. You must thoroughly wash perishable foods that we'll be dealing with and wash any equipment that you're using if you plan on using it for other foods in order to prevent cross-contamination. For example, you do not want to use the same knife and cutting board to cut chicken and then use that same exact stuff without washing it and then cut fresh fruit or vegetables. That right there is cross-contamination. If you cut yourself, you must immediately leave your food station, wash and sanitize your hands and your cut, put a Band-Aid on, and then put gloves on if you need to wash and sanitize again. You should throw away whatever it is you were cutting and whatever you were cutting with. Wash your equipment after you take care of yourself. It is also important that you know that for this class, I will never, this is not in regards to nutrition, but just in regards to your privacy, that I will never single you out without your permission. For example, if I think you did a great job on an assignment and I want the class to know what I expect because I think yours is something that I expect, I will not outright tell them without asking your permission first. Also know that I will never criticize your work in front of the class, whether it is a paper, test, or cooking assignment. If I give you feedback, it will always be in private and will never be in front of the class. This is a good tool for you to be aware of because if you're dealing with a client, their privacy and trust is key to maintaining your work with them. If for a second or even once you make a client feel uncomfortable or that they do not have your trust with their health, they may consider firing you or leaving you. The way I treat you all should be a minor reflection of how you treat your future clients. For this class, you will be required to complete written assignments that must include sources. So make sure that you do not plagiarize and make sure that you quote and paraphrase when needed. In this field, you will likely have to write articles, papers, or even emails to clients to show that you have done your research. Make sure to give credit where credit is due, and you should be fine. All right, moving on with how you and I are to communicate. For this class, it is very important on how we communicate. I would prefer to be called Miss Hall, and when I take roll, you can let me know what you prefer to be called. I would be more than happy to talk with you before or after class if you have any questions. So I usually show up early and I usually stay a couple minutes after class if anyone has questions or comments or concerns. Though we meet in class, you can still have my email if you ever have any questions regarding coursework, research, etc. I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. However, I do not reply to emails after 8 p.m. So if you want something responded to fairly quickly, make sure that it is before that time. I am available at my office hours for any questions you may have as well. These will be my main sources of contact if you need me outside of the classroom. I do have an office phone and a number is provided for you guys, but I do not answer it often and I rarely check my voicemail. So if you need to talk to me, make sure it is on email since I am on it frequently. All right, now the last part. Now we'll go on to go over procedures for routine tasks that we'll go over in class. Though I mentioned some of these things a while back, I will go into a bit more depth about what I expect when dealing with food, which we will be doing weekly since it is necessary to wash your hands at the beginning of class, before, during, and after an activity is completed. We will be washing our hands according to the 5 steps the CDC has created. First, you're going to need to wet your hands with clean running water. Usually in class, it's mostly going to be clean water. I shouldn't expect any red or orange or brown stuff to come out of the faucet, so clean water will be fine. It should be warm. And then you need to turn off the water and then apply your soap. Lather your hands by rubbing them together with the soap. Be sure to lather the backs of your hands, between your fingers, and under your fingernails. Very important. Make sure to scrub your hands for at least 20 seconds. And after that, you're going to rinse your hands under clean running water again. Then after, you're just going to dry your hands using a clean towel, or you can air dry them. I'd prefer to clean towel dry them because it'll just be more time efficient. So that's in regards to hand washing anytime we deal with food. So remember, you're going to do this when you come to class, before we start the activity, and after the activity is over, and during the activity. So every week, I will send you an article that deals with nutrition in some sort of way. I expect you all to read it ahead of time and write down 3 interesting things you've learned, 1 thing that you already knew, if possible, and 1 way in which this information can be used in your career later on, in your career field in the future. This should be done for homework. And then at the beginning of class, you should be in groups of 4, and you'll discuss the article and share your thoughts. Afterward, 1 person from each group shares their main takeaways from the article as a group, discussing with the whole classroom. I'll be walking around during this time when you're discussing with your groups in the beginning of class to make sure that you've done your homework and also to take roll. This should begin the first 30 minutes of class. It is expected that right when you come to class that you get into your groups and start discussing once class is in session. This way we do not waste time arranging desks or taking roll. So it should be very efficient. I shouldn't have to tell you once you come into class that you should be in your groups discussing. You should just already know and already be in that group discussing the homework. I will not be collecting the homework because I'm going to be going around checking to see that you've done it and, to take roll. So if you've done it and I've seen it, then you're fine. So that's all I have for the procedures and tools, technology, and tool policies in regards to nutrition. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'd be happy to help you.